The government brought it to Earth, asleep, frozen, hidden. But it woke up and shredded their strongest lab in seconds. No name, no origin, just a pulse that melts metal and bends minds. Superman said contain it. Thor said kill it before it speaks. Iron Man built a cage, but it broke before it was finished. The skies turned black and the oceans recoiled. Because Earth hadn't discovered the alien. It had called it home. The thing they buried alive. Nevada Black Sector 9 to 3:17 a.m. 3 screams were recorded before all sensors died. Security footage caught exactly 11 frames of motion and then melted. Inside the high-security sublevel of the most classified government lab on Earth, there had been something asleep. It had arrived in silence. A stealth transport shuttle, not marked by any flag or nation. 3 people knew of it. One of them was already dead. The chamber was built like a nuclear tomb. 18 inches of vibranium casing, pulse-dampening tech from Wakanda, and telepathic shielding ripped from Charles Xavier's rejected prototypes. And none of it mattered, because it woke up, and Earth trembled. Metropolis, 6:02 a.m. Superman was already in the sky. He'd heard it, not the screams, the silence. A vacuum where noise should have been. Something had flattened a field of reality so completely that air refused to move. He arrived at Sector 9 moments later. The facility wasn't damaged. It wasn't attacked. It had been peeled open like fruit. Black scorch marks curled around the exit point. A tunnel fused into glass. No alarms, no oxygen, no bodies. Just one word, burned into the wall, not carved, etched with radiation. Remember. Superman stared, then turned. Call them both. Now, Stark Tower, Manhattan, 6:07 a.m. He said it was asleep. Tony Stark snapped, stepping into the scorched site in full armor. It was, Superman replied calmly, until someone disturbed it. Thor landed in a crack of lightning, dragging the storm with him. Then the mistake was letting it live. Tony raised an eyebrow. You sound very execution-y for a guy who once adopted a talking rock monster. Thor ignored him. What I felt when this thing woke, that wasn't a creature. It was a curse. There are things in this universe that sleep for a reason. Superman folded his arms. And there are beings who fear what they don't understand. That's not how we protect Earth. Thor took a step closer. You still think this is about Earth? Earlier that month, the hidden transport. Deep within the Mojave, a convoy of unmarked military vehicles moved through darkness. Inside one of them, a stasis pod. Humanoid in shape, wrapped in alloy bindings. Not dead, not alive. The file called its subject Alpha Wind. One note, buried deep in encrypted clearance logs, had only 2 words attached. Interdimensional bleed. The being wasn't found. It had arrived, bleeding through from a place not mapped by time or space. Back to present, 6:21 a.m. Superman floated inches above the glass crater. His eyes scanned every molecule. There's no trace. It didn't leave tracks. It altered the molecules around it and vanished. Tony hovered beside him. You sure it didn't just teleport? Superman shook his head. No, it didn't move through space. It moved through belief. It slipped between what people expected to see. Thor's eyes flared. Then it is not just a threat. It is a liar of reality. Such creatures cannot be caged. Superman turned sharply. We cage what we must understand. And we destroy what we understand too late, Thor snapped. Tony raised a hand. Okay, can we pause the mythological morality debate? Because whatever it is, it's headed for population zones. And we don't have time to argue over philosophy. Then his HUD lit up red. That's not good. Satellite feed, 6:26 a.m. Downtown Jakarta. A power grid shorted out across 6 blocks. Then the buildings didn't collapse. They unfolded. Like paper. Like their physical rules had just unraveled. No alien tech. No explosions. Just a shape, tall, human-shaped, standing still in the middle of it all. People ran. Some didn't. Some stood frozen, eyes wide, minds fractured. because they could see two versions of the world at once. And this thing was at the center of both. Back at Site 9, Tony turned. "We don't need a plan. We need a failsafe." "No," Superman said. "We don't kill what we don't understand." "Then you're making the same mistake they did," Thor said coldly. "It's not just walking through cities, it's rewriting them. Earth bends to its will." Superman looked up. Then we find out why. Meanwhile, across the sky, the being stood in the center of the crumbling Jakarta intersection. It didn't breathe. It didn't move. But the concrete whispered around it, surfaces warping like memories. One child approached, eyes wide. The being turned and spoke in a voice that vibrated through thought. "He remembers me." It looked toward the sky, the one with fire in his hand. A pause, and the one with the bleeding name. It stepped forward once. The air cracked, and three gods came down from the sky. It knows their names. Downtown Jakarta, 6:43 a.m. The being didn't move. It stood in the middle of the collapsed intersection, statuesque, yet every inch of its body hummed. Not with light, not with heat, with possibility. Its skin looked human, almost, but it shifted in the daylight, like it couldn't decide what shape to hold. Its shadow bled in the wrong direction. Its reflection in glass didn't match its pose. People who looked too long screamed, not out of fear, but confusion, as if their minds couldn't handle what they saw. Then came the hum, like the world itself was tuning to its frequency. And then it spoke again. "Where is the one with the hammer of storms? Where is the man of wires and light? Where is the last sun?" The earth answered with thunder. Above, 6:45 a.m. They came down like gods. Thor crashed to the street first, summoning Mjolnir to his back as he summoned his new axe forward. "You speak as if you've met me before." The being looked up. It smiled and bled light from its teeth. "I have worn your bones." Thor flinched. He wasn't sure why. Iron Man hovered in behind him, nano armor humming, auto sensors running thousands of threat diagnostics per second. All of them came back with one word: unknown. Superman landed quietly. No sonic boom, no heat vision, just presence. "We don't want to fight." "You never do," the being said. "But you always bring one. DNA, it knows too much. It's reading us," Iron Man whispered. "Like, live scanning our biology, memory, language, everything. That shouldn't be possible." Superman looked closer. The being blinked, and suddenly it looked different. Its face now bore a faint resemblance to Jor-El, Superman's father. Thor stepped back, confused. "That is not right." Superman's voice lowered. "It's not just reading us. It's replicating what matters to us." "That's not mimicry," Tony added. "That's manipulation." Then the being whispered, "Contain me." Everyone froze. "You said that before," Iron Man said. "No," Superman corrected. "I said that." The being looked at him with eyes now completely white, yet full of memory. "Yes, you did. Before Earth." Brain flashback, Project Memory Cage. Months ago, in a covert Black Ops lab buried under Icelandic rock, a team of scientists had shown Superman something he wasn't meant to see. A being that had no records in any galactic archive. No name, no heartbeat, no origin. Yet it dreamt. And in those dreams, it repeated one message: "Contain me." Superman argued to keep it dormant, alive. A mystery worth understanding. Others wanted to dissect it. But the one voice that shook the room was his. If it's begging to be locked away, maybe it knows what it becomes when it wakes. And now it had woken and remembered him. Jakarta, 6:51 a.m. "You wanted to protect me," the being said. "I wanted to protect Earth," Superman replied. "Same thing," it said. "To you." Thor didn't wait. He swung his weapon, lightning crashing from the sky mid-swing. The being raised a hand and stopped the axe without touching it. Thor gasped as his weapon began to age in midair. The runes faded. The handle cracked. The blade tarnished. He yanked it back just in time, staring at it in horror. "What did it just do?" Tony barked. "It rewrote the weapon's past," Thor whispered. "That was time decay. Locked, the containment fails. Tony activated Protocol 17, a zero-point pulse cage wrapped in a micro-singularity. The field snapped shut around the being instantly, forming a glowing energy cube. Superman raised a hand. "Wait, give it a second." The being turned its head, smiled. "Do you want to know how you die?" The cube shattered, not from force, but from irrelevance. The energy flickered and refused to reform, as if the laws of physics had lost faith in themselves. Tony's armor began glitching. "My suit just ran 4 billion calculations, and every one ended in death." "Whose?" Thor asked. "All of ours," Tony said flatly. Firecracker, the first strike. The being moved, or reality moved around it. Buildings warped sideways, glass unshattered. Time hiccuped. Then a pulse blasted out, not sound, not light, but regret. Everyone felt it. Children cried without knowing why. Old men remembered mistakes they never made. Birds dropped mid-flight. Thor struck. Lightning met presence. The being blinked and caught the bolt in its mouth and swallowed it. "I eat stars," it whispered. "And you bring me static." Thor roared, flying forward. Superman followed behind, eyes flaring. Iron Man launched every warhead he had. It didn't matter. The being raised its hands, and everything paused. Ice cube freeze frame. Time held still, and the being walked through the frozen moment. It looked at each of them, studied them like failed art. It placed one hand on Thor's heart. Too angry. Another on Iron Man's head. Too clever. And then it looked at Superman and stopped. Too human. And it wept. Not out of sorrow, but memory. "You were the last one who believed I was real. And that's why I broke the world." Time snapped back. They were all blown backward into walls, vehicles, concrete. The being stepped into a crack in the street and vanished. Later that day, Fortress of Solitude. Superman stared at holograms, searching, comparing. Nothing matched. "It's not from this universe," he said. "It's from belief." Tony, bruised, sipped from a busted thermos. "Cool. So what? We pray it back into the bottle." "No," Superman said. "We find what it wants." "It doesn't want," Thor said darkly. "It remembers. And we're the memory. The weapon that could kill belief." Fortress of Solitude, 1:22 p.m. Superman paced alone beneath Kryptonian crystal light, deep in thought. The walls pulsed with ancient knowledge, but none of it had an answer for what they were facing. Not a creature, not a god, not a weapon. "It's a belief engine," he whispered. "A being built from memory, sustained by perception." Footsteps echoed. Stark walked in, bruised, limping, armor partially offline. "I ran a dozen simulations," Tony said. "All end the same. It destabilizes reality wherever it goes. It's not attacking us, it's rewriting how things are supposed to work." Superman looked at him. "So we stop it?" "Yeah," Tony muttered. "But how do you kill something that exists because you believe it does?" Global satellite feed, 2:07 p.m. In orbit, satellites blinked offline, not destroyed, just forgotten. They didn't fall. They simply weren't there anymore. Like someone had erased the idea of them. The being had reached low Earth orbit, and it wasn't hiding. Hammerampic New Asgard, Thor's call. Thor stood on a mountain cliff, staring into the wind. Around him his people trained, unaware of the threat rising. He opened a runestone communicator. The sigils pulsed. "I call upon the Keeper of Knowledge," he said. "Heimdall's successor. Open the memory well." A voice answered, calm and ancient. "You seek forgotten things, Odinson?" "Yes," Thor replied. "Because we face something that has never wanted to be remembered." Moments later, a golden portal opened. A map of collapsed realities hovered before him. Only one line pulsed, red, erratic. "It came from below the void, not space," the Keeper whispered. "What lies below the void?" Thor asked. "Silence. The things that failed creation, but still dreamed." Brain back at the fortress. Tony pulled out a small device the size of a coin, pulsating blue and gray. "This," he said, "is what I call a cognitive severance charge." Superman looked cautious. You built this since Jakarta? No, Tony said. I built it after Thanos. It was meant to erase memory of an object or event from the collective consciousness. Just in case, people remembered things they shouldn't. Superman frowned. And you think it can erase this being? No, Tony admitted. But I think if we can isolate it, weaken it, this might sever its link to our shared reality. Not destroy it. Just make us forget it existed. Isn't that just a delay? Superman asked. No, it's a prison, Tony replied. A world where no one can find it, because no one knows to look. Collision, the being strikes again. 3:44 p.m., Nairobi. The sun dimmed slightly, though weather reports said skies were clear. Then cars slowed, but didn't crash. Birds stopped flapping, but hovered. People forgot why they were standing in the streets. Time wasn't paused. It was being undermined. The being stood on a rooftop, watching, listening. Then it whispered, "You brought me here. You found me when I wanted to sleep. And now, I'll show you what silence really is." High voltage, the second confrontation. Thor landed first, splitting the rooftop in half. Superman followed, hovering just above the creature. Tony circled overhead in Mark 99, upgraded with metaphysical filters and pulse shields. The being raised its hand, and reality trembled. "You don't belong here," Superman said. "I never did," it answered. "But you made room." Thor surged forward. This time his strike connected, smashing into the being's side, shattering a chunk of its skin. Only there was nothing beneath, just shifting, empty layers like memory shells. "It has no core," Thor shouted. "Because it's not built from matter," Superman replied. "It's built from stories." Firecracker the plan. Tony dropped the severance charge. It hovered in midair, humming. The being stepped toward it, curious. Then suddenly it flinched, for the first time. "It remembers what this is," Tony whispered. Superman's eyes widened. "It's afraid." Thor summoned his storm, blasting it from all sides. Superman followed with heat vision. The being staggered, and reality around it flickered. A nearby building turned to sand. The sky glitched into night. The being screamed, not in pain, in terror. "Don't unmake me," it roared. "You need me. I am your fear. I am your forgotten. I am your ghost. Without me, you won't know what you became." Broken heart the choice. Superman floated closer. "You're right," he said softly. "We made you real, because we feared what we couldn't explain. So why contain me now?" the being begged. Superman glanced at Tony. "Because fear doesn't get to write our future." He punched the charge into the being's chest. "You go back to sleep." The device flared. The being's body cracked. Not like glass, like memories breaking apart. It reached for Superman. "You'll forget who you were." "Maybe," Superman whispered, "but we'll still be better without you." The being vanished. The street stabilized. The sky turned normal, and everyone around them forgot there was ever a threat. Clapperboard final scene, one last memory. Later, at the fortress, Superman looked at the silent crystal archive. Tony walked in, silent. "So, does anyone else remember?" "No," Superman said. "Just us." "And Thor." Thor entered quietly behind them. "A forgotten god for a forgotten threat," he muttered. "Fitting." Superman pressed a crystal. One hologram played. The being, just for a second, flickering. "We remember because we chose to," Superman said. "And if it ever returns?" Tony asked. Superman stared ahead. "Then we don't ask questions. We don't debate. We end it." The Whisper Network. Global news. Memory wipe confirmed? Reports across Earth were growing strange. Governments denied everything, but people were starting to notice. Blackouts without power loss. Entire buildings gone from GPS, but still physically standing. Sketches of something tall and watching that no one remembered drawing. Psychics were the first to break, waking up screaming. Then came the children, mumbling names no one taught them. Something was still here, and it was rebuilding itself through those who still remembered. Brain Superman's discovery, the residual. In the Fortress of Solitude, Superman isolated one strand of psychic feedback left behind in Nairobi. A whisper caught in a crystal lens. Just one line. He forgot me, but I didn't forget him. Superman ran the voice print. It matched his own. Tony stood behind him, arms crossed. We didn't erase it. We fractured it. It's still alive in the parts of the world that can't forget. Thor stepped in from the outer hall, his hammer humming. Then the only option is final death. No, Superman said. That's not justice. That's fear. Fear made it, Tony added. Fear might be the only way to stop it. Round Pushpin, the echo point. Later that night, all three stood in a remote desert. The location triangulated by readings from dream state patterns across 3 continents. The sand shifted, and a structure began building itself from memory, stone by stone, shaped from the thoughts of the people still dreaming about the entity. A temple. No doors, no windows, just a hollow cube. Inside it pulsed, the echo of what was once erased. We don't go in, Tony warned. We send in probes. I go in, Superman said. Why you? Thor asked. Superman looked ahead, calm. Because it still remembers me. Person walking Superman walks in. The walls whispered his name as he passed. The air thickened. Reality bent. But he didn't break. Inside, the core floated, shaped like a heart, glowing black and gold, a belief organ. Then a voice. You tried to forget me. We had to, Superman said. You were breaking the world. I never broke it, the voice replied. You did. When you touched me. When you brought me to your planet. The walls showed a memory. Superman, standing in the secret Black Ops lab months ago, staring at the sleeping form of the being, his hand reaching out. You gave me purpose, the voice whispered, and then denied I existed. Firecracker, meanwhile, outside, Thor could feel it. The air twisting. The sand underfoot, remembering things it shouldn't. Tony's HUD glitched. We're losing him. It's feeding again, Thor growled. Off attention. Off his guilt. Then came the pulse. Like a second heartbeat across the sky. The temple cracked. Pull him out. Tony shouted. Too late, Thor replied. It's already begun. Inside the mind. Superman's body hovered midair inside the cube. But his mind was standing in a false metropolis. Everything perfect, bright, still, except no people. Then one appeared, Lois. But she didn't speak. She just bled from the eyes and whispered. You knew it was alive, and you touched it anyway. Satellite antenna real-world response. Tony activated the last failsafe. Dream Cage Protocol. A Wakandan Kryptonian device meant to pull minds from constructed psychic planes. We bring him back now, or we lose more than just Clark, Tony said. Or, Thor growled, we go in and end it. The thing we brought to life. Inside the Memory Temple, Echo Zone. Superman stood alone in the perfect illusion of Metropolis. Streets silent, skies blue, not a sound in the air. But everything was wrong. No people, no wind, no heartbeat, only reflections of what Earth once looked like. Then the voice returned. You created me. It was everywhere, in the walls, the ground, in his own bones. You touched my cage. You noticed me. That's all I needed. The world shimmered. The buildings pulsed like lungs. Superman looked up. You were asleep. We were trying to understand. Understanding is creation, the voice replied. And now I'm part of your world, part of your story. Outside, desert perimeter. Thor could wait no longer. He gripped his hammer, eyes glowing white with storm. Enough containment. Enough debate. We kill it now. You kill it, Tony snapped. You risk shattering Clark's mind with it. Thor didn't care. He stepped forward, raised the hammer. The sky shifted. The sand began to vibrate. Suddenly, a crack tore open in the cube temple, and a new figure floated up. Not the original being, but something else. A child-sized version, pale smooth, blank-eyed. Tony scanned it. It's not the same. It's a rebirth. No, Thor said coldly. It's a trick. Inside, Superman versus the truth. The false metropolis peeled away. Superman now floated inside a core of shifting light. Every thought, every memory, replaying around him. Krypton exploding, Lois dying, Zod screaming, his own face screaming back. The voice returned, now in the shape of Superman himself. I am the version of you that was never allowed to exist. The one that questioned. The one that broke. Superman clenched his fists. You are a shadow. I am a mirror, it replied. And if I die, the guilt that made me dies too. But you need your guilt, don't you? It makes you feel real. Outside, the newborn attacks. The child form of the entity opened its mouth. No scream, no sound. Just memory flooding outward like a wave. Thor dropped to one knee, haunted by visions of battles he never fought. Brothers he never had. Realities he had almost lived. Tony collapsed, armor failing, whispering, I'm forgetting who I am. And then it turned its head toward the sky. It was calling something. No, someone. Inside, Superman's decision. Superman floated face to face with his own ghost. You want me to destroy you? No, the being whispered. I want you to finally accept me. You were made from fear, and that makes me yours. Silence. Superman stepped forward and embraced the being, not to erase it, not to cage it, to acknowledge it. The light around them shattered. The entity screamed, not in pain, but in release. Outside, the temple implodes. The cube collapsed inward. The newborn flickered, paused mid-strike, then disintegrated into sand. Thor stood up, silent. Tony gasped. What just happened?